Yo, why? Yo, Windows sucks. That's Bill Gates. I'm telling you, that is Bill. That is Bill Gates. That is his vengeance. Hitting up my Windows for the other day. It's all right, Bill. I see you. All right. Yeah, blame it on Nosy. That's right. Yeah. That one's for you, Nosy. Damn, I was gonna do the whole the whole Tim Dillon, ladies and gentlemen thing. All right, guys. Now we're gonna start. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me tonight. My name is Baze, and do I have a show for you? First off, I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed in some of you. Okay, you guys know that I always call it how I see it. I'm not afraid to call bullshit when I see it. But today, when I posted that thumbnail and I started getting these DMs from some of you guys, I'm not going to say names. You know who you are. And you guys said, Baze, you're not really going to rip into Ian Carroll tonight, are you? I was like, what? What? Is that what you guys got out of that thumbnail? You guys thought that I was going to freaking go at Ian? What are you, on drugs? You guys have any idea what Ian Carroll has done for this movement? As a matter of fact, just so you guys are aware, I DM'd Ian that thumbnail and told him, well, gave him a slight idea about what the show was going to be about. An hour before I posted it, just in case he didn't like the Where's Waldo thing. You know, because I don't like just putting people on a thumbnail for nothing. And I'm not going to lie, anytime I've put Ian on a thumbnail, I've gotten a lot of views. I don't take advantage of it. But if I'm talking about something that's really, really important, and I think it might draw a couple extra eyes, I don't think anyone's going to get mad at me for doing it. Especially because we're talking about free speech. And I don't know, I haven't been checking my calendar, but come on, how many Fridays has it been? You know, he's missed like 3 or 4 out of the last 6. I've gotten a lot of DMs about that too. Like, what's up with Ian? What's up with Ian? It's like, yo, guys, I don't know if you realize this or not, but I'm still a civilian, okay? I'm not like some big streamer that has access to all these people. You know, I'm not that guy. Like, yes, you know, we've gone back and forth a couple times, but not like that. He's not accessible. So I don't know what the guy's doing. But, like I said, today's episode is about free speech. And it's been a while since we had a Free Speech Friday. I mean, the last one I saw was like a month ago when he did the thing on 2001. So I'm like, you know what? Since we don't know if he's going to be back this Friday, and I'm going to be covering free speech anyway, I'm just going to borrow the slogan. We're going to have a Free Speech Wednesday. I'm going to put him on the thumbnail. Maybe he'll see it. Maybe he'll hear about it. Who knows? Maybe he'll come back sooner than expected. But God bless Ian Carroll. I hope he's doing well. I don't know what he's doing. All I know is he is a busy bee, that guy. He delivered with the Buyer app. Then he delivered with Webb. Then we got like the real Webb. You know, and then he like last time I saw him streaming, he's talking about how he's like vibe coding and, you know, the Claude bots and like who knows what he's cooking up. So if he's not making content, obviously he's doing something that he thinks is going to make a bigger difference, and he's doing what he wants to do, what he needs to do. So let him do it. He'll be back. Like, you guys are nuts. But we have some serious matters to attend to today. Shout out to Gen X Girl for dropping this one.
This bipartisan legislation will require social media companies to release detailed public reports of violations of their terms of service and to outline how they're addressing these violations, which includes the use of their platforms by terrorist groups. Every day companies fail to report this information, it will result in a $5 million fine. Social media companies can no longer hide the crimes that take place on their platforms, especially when they pose a threat to America's national security. And we're very proud of this bill has the backing of the Anti-Defamation League.
I saw anti-Semitism for the first time when I was 15 years old. I had good parents who taught me it was wrong, but it left a lasting impression on seeing my first incident as a teenager. And if you're on my social media...
Yo, this audio sucks. Just letting you guys know, this is not my fault. I'm sorry for the static. But that's also why I have the text on the screen to the right, and just read it on the screen if you can't bear it. But this is really important. You guys got to pay attention to this. No jokes.
You see it every day from people that are responding back with what I consider clearly anti-Semitic kind of messages on social media. I even saw a article today. It was about me, but it was talking about we have to oppose congressmen who are pro-Zionists, right? And you're like, in other words, it's all over our social media, and it's unacceptable. And when I saw the protests out here the last 2 days, they were vile, right? They were, you can see the anti-Semitism in their comments and how they were treating.
Guys, I don't know what you guys are doing when I'm not around, but I don't think we're vile. I don't think Ian's vile. I don't think Candace is vile. I don't think any of the people that watch are vile. I mean, I'm sure we got a couple bad eggs along the way, but not in my Discord community. Not in my chat. We always keep it respectful. Like, what's our damn slogan? We're literally the... I can't talk. What's going on? We're literally the light squad. Like, I say it all the time. We are the light. Like, this guy is completely full of crap. Completely full of crap. Well, let's keep going.
Some of our members of Congress who are Jewish. I saw that firsthand. It's unacceptable. And so we want to be in a country that makes clear that anti-Semitism or any kind of racism is repugnant, unacceptable, not allowed in my space, and with zero tolerance for it. And people should feel like that they're scorned for having these ideas and espousing these ideals. And we need to work with our social media companies to clean this up, because what is going on is wrong. And I think it's further influencing other more people that can be influenced by what they're seeing that this is acceptable behavior. It is not. So we need to hold these companies accountable and work with them to take it up.
Do you guys see what they're saying? You guys see what they're trying to do? Like, are you reading this? Are you reading this? Right here? I'll put it right under me. Cover this asshole so we don't have to see his face. I don't even know who he is. Bill requiring social media to report anti-Zionism as hate terrorism. Like, you guys understand like what they're trying to do? And you know what? Since I put Ian on the thumbnail, let's play a little Ian Carroll.
Like, truth on the internet and all this kind of stuff, and we need to like crack down on this. And
that's where they're going.
And this is the scary part, because it really does feel like forget left, forget right. It's the same body. It's just like right hand does things a little bit differently, left hand does things a little bit different. Like, depending on sort of what public opinion is saying, they'll kind of move things a little bit differently. But it's the same body going in the same direction. And it feels like we're getting closer, marching down that line of like, our government is trying to get a hold on what you can truly say or not say. And then we'll get into the Kimmel conversation. But this one specifically was interesting because he was like, he was talking about anti-Semitism specifically. And then he was kind of relating it to Kash Patel in regards to like, there's this whole conspiracy about his girlfriend being like a Mossad agent and all this stuff. He's like, even you deal with it. And I don't know enough about all these things, but I see the lining of like, oh, they're trying to get closer to this, like, well, we need to control certain sort of speech because.
And that whole thing with Kash Patel's girlfriend, like, that's just making fun of him because he's ugly. You know what I mean? Like the fact that they take something like that and they try to spin it and like turn it into like whatever. That's a whole other situation. But let's keep going.
Because it's Russia bots or it's China bots.
Yup.
Where does that go? Because it truly feels like it's going to go to a thing where they're just going to be able to stop you, or they were talking about this whole passport thing to take people's passports away from criticizing Israel.
Pay attention. This is a big one. This is a big one. Let me rewind it a couple seconds.
they're just going to be able to stop you, or, you know, they were talking about this whole passport thing to take people's
Yeah,
passports
dude.
away from criticizing Israel. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
an
you can
American
criticize
citizen.
you can criticize another, you can't criticize another government, but you can criticize our government. But if you criticize that government, then like we're gonna take you out of here.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's a very obvious track, and this is something that like the deep conspiracy theorists have been ringing the alarm on for like 8 years now and more, because it's been the holy grail of like the intelligence agencies, the CIA, the Mossad, all of these guys, the technocrats, like the tech CEOs. They've been dreaming about this for forever, because when you can control speech, you can subdue the public. Like, you no longer need to win an election if you can just stop everyone from speaking about the other side of an argument. If you can stop people from saying hateful things, it's pretty easy to lock down the whole thing, and the empire is yours. And it's not hard. Like, there's all these technicals of like,
And guys, how many times do I say it? How many times do I say it? They have us living in this little bubble of bullshit. They curate the information. They use education and media and movies and music and public school to like indoctrinate us and to believe these lies about our history and where we came from and who we really are and what we're really capable of. And they just stick us on these mouse wheels. You know, isn't today tax day? Right? Today's tax day. You know what's crazy about tax day, which I was thinking about? I was actually thinking about this all week. And then I think it was James Lee that I saw that did a video where somebody was saying it. How, like, you know, it used to be, or we were led to believe, that we would pay our taxes and they would take the money and they would use it to fund all the stuff that we need, right? Right? Isn't that what you guys think? Isn't that what it's supposed to be? But no, because when you really think about it, anytime the government needs money now, the Fed just pushes a button. It's all digital. They just push the button. So what do they do when we pay our taxes? They take it off the board. They just fucking delete it. It's just gone. Psh. It's imaginary. It's all fake. It's all fake. The money is fake. They just make it up as they go. Just like our laws. Just like our history. Just like these stupid bills that they try to pass to keep us chained and keep us in this little bubble. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
The specifics of that conspiracy or the specifics of that story that like most people don't have time to research into. But like, you don't have to be fucking informed about all these facts in order to just see it as like for what it is. It's like, that's clearly the most anti-American thing I could ever imagine. It's the First Amendment for a reason.
Yeah.
And like the goal is with the bots conversation, because it'd be one thing for them to just try to keep going the anti-Semitic route, which is like appealing to like, it's like hurtful to our feelings, or it's like dangerous ideologically. But the bot thing is actually, the goal is to try to be able to label people that are speaking up as terrorists. Because if you can label someone as a terrorist, you're not even an American. You might be paid by Qatar. You might be like, right? Suddenly, sky's the limit. Like, I can be labeled as a terrorist because I'm saying things that are actually with the bots, and it's like,
Yeah.
fuck, that is a dark future.
Yeah.
And it's paired.
And that is true. Once you're labeled a terrorist, you don't have your rights anymore. They could just hold you for as long as they want. No trial, no justice. You're in another country, they just decide over a social media post that you're a terrorist. And all of a sudden, you might be getting hit with the drone strike. Like, does anybody else think that this is like, you know, like if you said this 5 years ago, 10 years ago, people would think that you were a crackpot. But if you don't see this coming today in 2026, then you are a moron. Then your head is so far deep in the sand that I feel bad for your children, because they're not going to stand a chance. They're not going to stand a chance. People need to wake up. They need to see what's going on. They need to see what we're up against. And we need to start figuring out what we're going to do about this. Like, people need to get organized. Everybody needs to start calling their local representatives, and we need to get our voices heard. We need to speak up. We need to, this is when I talk about call to actions, we need to start organizing for petitions. Petitions, calling up, spamming. I mean, spamming, I don't know. Like, I guess, yeah, it's spamming. But, calling our local representatives. Like, we have to know. We have to let these people know that we know what's going on. We don't want it, and we're going to hold them accountable. Because we don't know how bad it can really get. And if you want to think, I mean, just look in the Middle East. Just look in the Middle East.
With like Peter Thiel and Larry Ellison and all these like ultra billionaire tech guys that are super sketchy, that their whole companies are about surveilling everyone all the time. And they're very open about talking about wanting to mass surveil everyone all the time. Like pretty soon, because we kind of have this meme in our heads as Americans that like the government's already always watching, that the CIA is like in your computer right now. And they are if they want to be, but they don't have like the data and the AI capability yet to actually watch us all the time. But that's what they're working on right now. And that's what all these data centers going up are going to start to give them the capability, is to like watch more and more people more and more of the time with more and more cameras in public and in your devices and all that. And it's like, that gets pretty dark pretty fast.
Remember what we covered? How many guys, put a 1 in the chat if you were with me on Sunday night for my pop-up live. Because if you were with me Sunday night for my pop-up live, then you'll remember when we covered this video. Now, this man, Larry Ellison, owns Oracle. He's been having contracts with the CIA and other intelligence agencies since the late 80s. He's now part owner of TikTok. His son owns Paramount. He owns Warner Brothers. Now, you could just go on Google and just look at the guy owns Batman at this point. CBS. He has massive influence in our country and in our world. He's one of the richest men in the world. He also happens to be the largest individual donor to the IDF. But look what he has to say about AI and what he wants to do with it.
That the police officer is, by the way, and the camera's always on. You don't turn it on and off. And by the way you turn it on, you can't turn it on. I'm going to the bathroom. Oracle, I need 2 minutes to take a bathroom break, and we'll turn it off.
So, police officers, if you have any friends that are in law enforcement, this is what they have to look forward to. They're going to have body cams that they have to ask for a bathroom break. So, if a police officer needs to go and take a shit, he needs to ask his body cam if he could turn it off. Now, let's see what happens.
The truth is, we don't really turn it off. What we do is we record it so no one can see it, but no one can get into that recording without a court order.
Guys, don't worry. They'll record you taking a shit, but only AI will see it. An actual human is not going to see it without a court order. Because as we know in America, that our courts are so trustworthy. Just ask Tyler Robinson.
So you get the privacy you requested, but a court order, if you get a court order, we will, judge, can order, I want to look at that, this so-called bathroom break.
You hear what he just said? Did you hear what he just said? We get a court order and we could say, I want to take a look at that. This so-called bathroom break. And this is what they want to do to cops. This is what they want to do to cops. And they take care of the cops in this country. Imagine what they're going to do to us. Is anybody concerned? Is everybody okay with this? Does anyone else feel like if our forefathers were writing the Constitution today, that they would have probably put it in the Fourth Amendment, hey, by the way, we're not going to allow cameras to be recording everybody 24/7, even when they're in the bathroom? And think about how many billions and billions of dollars in tax benefits and in subsidiaries that these AI companies are getting. We're literally paying for this. We're literally paying to be enslaved. We're already debt slaves. We're already debt slaves. But we'll get more on that in a little bit.
Yeah. Do you think it's an inevitable?
Yeah, I do, unfortunately. And I try to always see the other side of an argument, even one like this, where it's like the other side is the government's version of the argument.
Yeah.
Because the problem is that they always sell you these things. They sell you the solution. Usually it's to a problem they created. And they'll sell you a solution that like is a solution. But in this case, it's a trade-off, right? Is an easier example to understand is self-driving cars. Driving cars is sick, but it's like the most dangerous thing that Americans do every day. It's the most dangerous thing in our lives. And self-driving cars don't really crash. And pretty soon they're going to crash zero. So how many years is it before we have a bill being introduced in our government to outlaw driving? Because like last year, 50,000 people were killed by human drivers. And like, look at Emily. Emily died because a human got behind the wheel. And it's like, do you give up the freedom of driving yourself so that we have no traffic accidents? It's like, that's actually an argument that you can make. Personally, you can I want to drive my car and be able to travel and be able to like get in my car and drive to where I want to be. It's like, that's a big part of freedom. And when you take that to like speech in general, and when you take that to all of our actions, it's like, we're looking like China pretty fast. Like, I don't.
Guys, social credit scores, digital ID, more mandates. It's all on the way. It's all on the way. And us just posting about this and talking about this stuff on social media is not going to stop it. We need to start, like I said, calling our local representatives, organizing petitions. I'm going to talk to some other creators, and I really think like it's going to have to come down to us. I know that sounds crazy. We got like 120 of us right now, and we're scattered all over the country. But if we actually try to start something, if we actually try to start it and just start spreading the word, maybe when they see it in black and white, maybe if it's actually like written down with the documentation showing the laws that they've already implemented and the laws that they're trying to implement now, and show exactly what it means and what the long-term consequences are going to be and how it's so contradictory to everything that our country is supposed to stand for. Like maybe when they see it in black and white and it's presented and packaged the right way, that people will realize and they'll sign it. I mean, think about it. How many of us get duped all the time with these apps? You want to be on Facebook? You want a YouTube app? I mean, every one of you in the chat right now has a YouTube app. You sign those terms and conditions. You don't know what you're signing away. You don't think that we could get a couple of people to sign a petition to make sure that we can maintain our freedom of speech? To like just say no to what they're trying to do? Like not even change anything. We're not even talking about changing anything that just drawing the line in the sand, saying that this is where it stops. Like this is where it ends. Like they've already gone way too far. We cannot let them push us back anymore. We just can't. And now keep in mind, remember what Ian was saying before about like once you're labeled a terrorism? Once you're labeled a terrorist, that like you lose your rights and they could just like hold you, no trial. Now, let's see if, because I've talked about it multiple times, especially when all the ICE stuff was going on. I'm like, listen, they're using that word terrorist way too loosely, and they're normalizing it for the left to call the right terrorists and the right to call the left terrorists. It's like, oh, Antifa, they're terrorists. Oh, people that are against Zionism, they're terrorists. But like people don't understand that these words mean something. These words have power. And if they pass this type of legislation and they start signing executive orders, then we are done. We are done, because it doesn't matter what you really are. It doesn't matter what your intentions are. Someone else will have the power to give you a label over something that you said on social media, and that is it. Your life is over. It's over. I should have got that Harrison Smith video together where he gets in all the stuff with the ADL and everything. Because once you start connecting all these dots, You know, once you turn everything into nodes and you start running it with the AI using Bayes' theorem like I do, like I've been telling you guys to do, you start to see everything very, very clear. And you realize that we are in a lot of trouble. And it is already so much worse than anybody ever thought that it was going to get. Like, we're already there, folks. It's already happening. And they don't need hate speech laws if they want to stop hate speech. And I know this for a fact. You know how? You know how I know? Because they control the algorithm. They control who has the platforms, who's able to say what. If someone like me is giving a little too much truth, giving a little too much information, but not really crossing any lines where it goes against the terms, they could just turn the dial down. They don't have to unplug me. They could just turn the dial down on my impressions. It's like, okay, yeah, his followers are going to see him, but some of them won't get the notifications and no one else is getting nothing. Good luck. Good luck. So when they talk about all this hate speech that they see online, I don't understand what the problem is. Like what? Like the majority of the hate speech that you're going to see in this country is going to come from teenagers playing Call of Duty. All right? And it's not the end of the world. It's really not. You know, it's like, remember when Trump got caught on the recording saying how he could just go up to girls and just grab them by the, It's locker room talk. It's banter. It's not worth getting labeled a terrorist for. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're in this grave danger that all these words are going to be out to get us. And that there are all these like undercover Nazis like hiding in tunnels or something, and they're just like waiting to come up like the Ninja Turtles. Like what the hell is going on? Like, what are they talking about? What are they talking about? And it's crazy too, because like I remember I was like 12 years old when 9/11 happened. And then when the Patriot Act came, my Aunt Susie, God rest her soul, rest in peace. Like it used to be a thing, like at family dinners and everything, like all you had to do was mention Bush, like George W. Bush, and my Aunt Susie would lose her shit, and it would always turn into an argument, like once you brought politics up at the table. It was like on one side of the family, all you had to do was bring up Bush. On the other side of the family, all you had to do was bring up Al Sharpton and just sit back, get the popcorn, and have a show. And I'm sure that there's plenty of other families out there that you've seen similar things in your day. But she said it with the Patriot Act, and a lot of people were for it. They're like, listen, like if there's terrorists, like if these people like they did that, like we don't know what they're gonna do. Like we got to get them. Like we got to get them. Like we can get rid of this bill later. And my Aunt Susie said it. She's like, listen, like this is not for them. This is for us. And there's not going to be any going back. They're just going to keep pushing it forward. And they're going to take more and more and more and more until there's nothing left. And she was absolutely right. She was absolutely right. She wasn't 100% right though, because if she was alive today, she would have like been one of those like women in DC with like a vagina hat on her head. So like knowing that, like I can't like give her full credit because she was still Democrat. She wasn't like based enough to understand that it's like a uniparty. But whatever. That's just me being a little too real in the moment. I'm sorry. But now let's look at some recent examples of people using the label of terrorist and how it's been implemented. Remember her? God, I should have got the picture of her husband. You guys seen those? With his big fake watermelon cross-dressing tits, allegedly. Yeah. Where did Trump find these people?
Enforcement officer over. This appears as an attempt to kill or to cause bodily harm to agents. An act of domestic terrorism.
It's that labeling at the end we sought to better understand. What is domestic terrorism? Good question. According to the FBI, it is violent criminal acts committed by individuals and or groups to further ideological goals stemming from domestic influences such as those of political, religious, social, racial, or environmental nature.
Minnesotans might remember the 2017 bombing of a mosque in Bloomington. The suspect was sentenced to life in prison for what the judge called a premeditated act of domestic terrorism against a faith community.
The key point here is It's about violent criminal activity plus an ideological intent.
That is Tom Brzezowski, the former counsel for domestic terrorism for the Department of Justice. Given his background.
Now let's find another one. That other one, I believe that first one was for Renee Good, and this is the Alex Preddy shooting.
Yes.
The White House has labeled the man who was killed in Minnesota as a domestic terrorist. Is that something you agree with? And have you seen any evidence?
When you perpetuate violence against a government because of ideological reasons and for reasons to resist and perpetuate violence, that is the definition of domestic terrorism. This individual.
Is it? Now listen. Now before we go any further, I'm not going to start pulling up the footage and start having debates about Renee Good and Alex Preddy. This isn't about ICE. This isn't about immigration. It's not about politics. You know, it's about the way that they're using the terms, the way that they're using the labels, and what their intent to do with those words, and how the trickle-down effect that it's going to have for us and our children and our grandchildren and the future of our nation. Because it's just not good. And then even J.D. Vance.
Officers should be supported in doing their job. You're trying to actually marshal the far left lunatic fringe to engage in doxing, to try to make it impossible for them to enforce the law, and in some cases actually to engage in acts of domestic terrorism.
You see? Now that's it. And that's a perfect example. If you play this again and you listen to the first parts, I agree with most of what he says in the beginning. You know, you should allow law enforcement to do their job and that they shouldn't have to worry about getting doxxed or attacked. But he goes a step too far.
ICE officers should be supported in doing their job.
Well, he's saying ICE officers. Again, I'm not getting into the ICE, but like,
ICE officers should be supported in doing their job. You're trying to actually marshal the far left lunatic fringe to engage in doxing, to try to make it impossible for them to enforce the law, and in some cases actually to engage in acts of domestic terrorism against our law enforcement officers.
You know, it's just, it's scary. It's scary. And then this is more. And guys, I just want you to understand, it's not just like right now, Trump is in power. The conservatives are in power. So you're seeing a lot of this rhetoric being used against the left. But once the left is in power again, you know, all of a sudden they're going to be in power, and everyone on the right, the conservatives, they're transphobic, they're homophobic, they're Nazis. Like, it's going to go back and forth. It's going to go back and forth. They're both going to use the same labels, and they're both going to do the same thing. Actually, I'm not even going to play that other clip. Let's watch this one now. Glenn Beck. Oh no, that's it. It's just that. All right. Sorry.
Okay, so there are the 20 Republicans in the House that stood up. Florida Representative Matt Gaetz opposed the bill. He said, this is a hate speech bill. Anti-Semitism is wrong, but the legislation is written without regard for the Constitution, common sense, or even common understanding of the meaning of the words. If this bill would pass, the gospel itself would meet the definition of anti-Semitism under the terms of this bill.
You hear what he said? They're saying that the language in some of these bills would make the New Testament fall under hate speech. I'll play it again.
Representative Matt Gaetz opposed the bill. He said, this is a hate speech bill. Anti-Semitism is wrong, but the legislation is written without regard for the Constitution, common sense, or even common understanding of the meaning of the words. If this bill would pass, the gospel itself would meet the definition of anti-Semitism under the terms of this bill. Democratic lawmakers, including House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, has also called for the passage of the bill. the Countering Anti-Terrorism Act, or Anti-Semitism Act. The bill would combat anti-Semitism through the appointment of a new presidential advisor that would be charged with implementing the White House's coordinated strategy in dealing with anti-Semitism. What could possibly go wrong here? The effort to crush anti-Semitism and hatred in any form is not a Democratic or Republican issue. It's an American issue that must be addressed in a bipartisan manner with a fierce urgency of now. Because after all, gang, say it with me, we've got to do something. Okay.
And I think that we have to do something. The only question is what? What can we do? What can we do? What are you willing to do? Like, what do you guys think that it takes? You know, and you get a lot of nuts out there that talk about civil wars and this and that, like the Steve Crowder types. Listen, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Our words have power. Every single one of us is way more powerful than we're ever led to believe. I can promise you that. I can promise you that. And I really think that if we got dedicated and we started calling our local representatives, like on the local level, like county, town, and then start moving up. Start calling our congressmen and women. Start calling these people. Start telling them. Start getting organized. Start getting other people to do it. Start speaking up. We have to start waking people up. We have to get involved. We have to get involved. You know, you're not going to just burn everything down. We just have to get involved so that we make sure that our government runs the way that it was meant to be run. Because all this divide and conquer, it's been going on for so long, and it's working. It's working. They got everybody so afraid of each other. Everybody some kind of label. Everybody, it's whether it's, they're black, they're white, they're Muslim, they're Jewish, they're Christian, they're atheist, they're tranny, they're this. It's like, listen, at the end of the day, if you live in America, okay, and you're not one of these really rich people, and you're working check to check, or maybe you're not check to check, but you're just grinding it out. You're saving some money, you're not saving money, whatever. At the end of the day, nobody gives a fuck, okay? Everybody is just trying to get by. We're just trying to live our lives in peace. And if you have kids, you want to raise your kids in a community where they're going to be safe, where they're going to be respected, where they're going to be happy. That's all we want. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're Jewish, whether you're atheist. People just want to be happy and safe. And the people that are running this government, they don't want us happy and they don't want us safe. I see everything going on about the on the news right now about the ticks. And it's oh, how convenient. What was it, 10 years ago that they're saying, oh, there are ticks that, you get bit, you're allergic, you can't eat red meat anymore. And then all of a sudden you hear people saying, hey, if we got people to start eating less red meat, it would probably help for the environment and our resources. And then what do you know? Another medical advancement, another vaccine. Guys, guess what? Great news. We got a vaccine for Lyme disease. Just in time, because we have the worst tick season that's been documented in a very long time. It's I'm sorry. I don't think that these are coincidences anymore. I don't think that these are coincidences. I can't even believe that I'm going to say this, but I don't know if my kids are safe growing up in America. I don't. Greatest country in the world? Yo, if we are the greatest country in the world, I mean, you know what? Then again, you see what's going on in Iran and Lebanon, and who knows? This is a disaster. It's a disaster.
When I hear people say the Jews killed Jesus, or those dirty Jews run the world, or those Jews are responsible for everything bad, or you're just saying things because you have a Zionist master. I think to myself, you're a bloody idiot. You have no clue as to what is really happening in the world. You have no clue. Are there some Jewish people that are very successful and top of corporations or top of whatever? Yeah, there are. Are there very successful Jews that happen to be bankers? Yeah. But you know what? There's also very successful bankers that are Catholics and Mormons and Lutherans and Methodists and, dare I say it, atheists. Yeah, but it's the Jews that are the problem. You're an idiot. You shouldn't run around saying these things. But I kind of actually like it when you do, because I know exactly who you are. Oh, here's a guy who is so stupid he can't tie his own shoes, or he's just a massive racist. Kids, stay away from him. You shouldn't run around saying because it's false, it's rude, it's stupid, all of the above. And we're trying to create a society here. The proper response to this act is to not post memes of long-nosed Jews wrapping their tentacles around a U.S. flag. It doesn't mean you're right about how the Jews are or vindicated for noticing that Zionists are the reason for everything is bad that has ever happened. You can say those things. You can say those things because our Constitution guarantees it. You know how I feel about anti-Semitism. You know how I feel about the Holocaust and the return of the Holocaust. I've been warning about it. I've been trying to prepare you for this time. I've prepared my family for this time. Hard choices are going to come soon. They already are. This one doesn't seem hard. What have I always said? The Constitution must rule.
And you know what? And that's the beautiful thing. That's what makes America great. That's what's supposed to make America the greatest country in the world. It's the Constitution. Okay? We can agree and disagree or agree to disagree on a numerous amount of issues. And we could sit here talking about conspiracy theories, and we could talk about the Epstein files, and we could talk about this, and we could talk about that. At least we can talk about it. At least we can talk about it. We have the freedom of speech. We have the Fourth Amendment that's supposed to guarantee that people can't just walk into our homes and they can't just go through our things. Because once upon a time, people didn't have that right. And now, like in this, it's like they kind of backdoored us. Now they're taking away our freedom of speech. You know, even platforms like this on YouTube. I say the wrong thing. I talk about the wrong topic. Pull the plug. You know, and it's supposed to be freedom of press. And I like to believe that I'm the press to some extent. You know, I might not always act like the most professional person, but I never give misinformation. I'll talk about theories that might be wrong. Yeah, I'm not going to be right about everything. But when I'm wrong, I'll take accountability. And you know what? In the past couple months, since I've been doing this show, I've been wrong about a couple of things. And I've taken accountability every time. And I think that that's how it should be. And I've been very critical. I've been critical of everybody. I mean, like, let's face it. Yeah, like I've been critical of so many people that I put Ian Carroll on the thumbnail today, somebody who I've never said a bad thing about in my entire life, that I have fucking praised, that I've told people was my inspiration. That was the whole reason why I wanted to start doing this. You know, like a lot of the community, a lot of the people that follow me, they met me from like sending him money to support him because of how much I believed in him. And I put him on a thumbnail, and I got fucking people messaging me saying, no, not Ian. Don't do Ian like that. And I'm like, yo, are you people crazy? And then I'm thinking like, oh my God, well, like, why wouldn't they think of that? I've been critical of everybody. Like at some points, I was even critical of Candace. Like, why wouldn't they think that? You know, and like I said, I've been wrong and I've taken accountability. And I think that that's what this country is supposed to be about. We have a voice. We're supposed to be able to speak up. We're supposed to be able to use our voice. We're supposed to be able to work things out. We're not all always going to get along. We're not all always going to like each other, you know, but as long as we don't hate each other, as long as we don't cross certain lines, our Constitution is supposed to protect us from a tyrannical government that's going to come after us and kill us and label us terrorists over something that we say on social media. Like, that's never supposed to happen. And that's happening in other countries. In other countries, you have journalists that are just trying to report the news, and their whole families are getting blown up. Like, this is happening overseas right now as we speak. And the same people that are behind it just so happen to have an influence on our government. And they do have an influence on some of this legislation that they're trying to pass. And they want to pass it for a reason. And it's not for us. It's not for our security. It's not for our liberty. And, like, people need to put their foot down. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. And I know that I've been on here and I've called everybody scumbags and whatnot. But, like, listen, if at any point, any of these people, even one of the biggest scumbags of them all, Dan Bongino, decided that he was going to repent and come to the other side and be one of the good guys, for real, I would embrace him with open arms. I don't know if I would apologize for anything that I've said, you know, but at least I would acknowledge that his children didn't have to walk in shame anymore. All right, I had to have a little joke, but this is serious. Listen, this is serious. My point is that nobody should be considered too far gone, and we cannot allow ourselves to just view everything as black and white. That, like, certain people are the bad guys and that we're always going to be against them. Certain people are the good guys and we're always going to have their back. Like Glenn Beck. Honestly, I'm pretty sure I've ripped into him a couple times. I don't know if I've ever called him a scumbag. I probably called him a douchebag. I disagree with a lot of the things that he said. But if you notice, I let it play. I listened to what he had to say. I had you guys listen to what he had to say. And I found the common ground. And you know what the common ground I found with Glenn Beck was? The Constitution. The love for America. And that is what being an American is all about. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You know? And, like, I kind of do. I kind of wish that I did a couple of things differently since I had this platform. Because, you know, like I've said multiple times, I got emotionally invested in the Charlie Kirk case. I got emotionally invested in Epstein. I had personal things going on at home. And then there were a couple nights where I just had the camera on. I was just ready to explode. And I just fucking let it rip, you know? And that's definitely not a professional thing to do. Definitely not going to make any friends in this business. Nobody's going to want to work with me. But I really, you know what? I really don't care either. Because I know from the responses that I've gotten from you guys and from other people and other content creators that there are enough of you out there with the little audience that I've had that believe in me as much as you do, that I know that if enough people hear what I have to say and enough people hear my opinions and enough people see, like, what's inside my heart and, like, the changes that I'm trying to make and why I'm trying to make them and how they really would be to benefit everybody, whether I agree with them or not, I think I'll be okay. And seeing how shitty that this business can be, like, have you guys been on X lately? Hey, and listen, I'm not about to start dropping some names. I know some people in the chat, as soon as I say that, you guys are going to have some ideas. But, like, you know what I mean? Like people going at each other, trying to dox each other, put out people's business, their past, their dirty laundry, screenshots, like all this bullshit. Like, yo, like, what are you doing? What do you stand for? Like, what is your goal? You know, like, I know why I do this. I know what I stand for. You know, like, I want to make real change for people. I want the next generation. Like, I have kids. I got 4 fucking kids, okay? I got 4 kids, and I'm all in on this. I'm not making no money. Like, I'm, like literally maxing out credit cards to give shit away like just trying to build the trust with my audience and trying to like expand the reach and like create these bonds and this loyalty, and because I believe in what I'm doing, because I stand for something, because I know I see a light at the end of the tunnel. And I know that if I'm successful, that I'm going to leave the world a better place for my children and for my grandchildren. And I live for that, and I will fucking die for that. And that is the truth. And anybody that knows me knows that. Anybody that knows me knows that. Danks knows that. Kelly Raybon knows that. Alley Top Files, Chris, they know that. American Discourse knows that. Rogue Dissidents, And notice, like, I'm not sitting here, like, calling out the big names. Truth is, I'm not really working with the big names. I don't fucking give a fuck because I don't want to owe anybody any favors, Like, when I first started Valhalla VFT, he was, shout out to him. He's a real one. Like, he showed me the ropes. He took the time to talk to me. Like, I don't talk to the guy all the time. I think I had, like, 2, maybe 3 conversations with him. And, he showed me the ropes. And, like, he said, yo, you ever need anything, da-da-da. And, like, I told him, like, yo, like, I'm new. I'm brand new. I'm going to earn my stripes. And one day, like, I'm going to have you calling me to do a fucking collaboration. Because that's how I want to do this. Like, I'm not trying to piggyback off anybody. I'm not trying to, like the closest you're going to see me piggybacking is putting Ian on the thumbnail. And that's just because today, the stuff that I wanted to show you guys, the stuff I wanted to talk about was so fucking important that I just wanted to get it to as many people as possible. And maybe even him. I don't know. But, like, I'm in this for the right reasons. And I am telling you guys that you need to get involved too. I'm not saying everyone has to make a platform. I'm not saying everybody needs to do research. But if you're listening to this right now, you need to do something, whether it's make a phone call, even just joining the Discord, getting in the loop. And I'm not sitting here asking you guys to buy merch. I'm not sitting here asking you guys to fucking give me money or sign up for this. I'm not trying to get any of your data. Like, just call somebody. Okay? Call your fucking mom, call your kids, like, call a local representative, call the school, be a pain in somebody's ass. Okay? That's what I want. You guys all got homework. Today's Wednesday. I'm off tomorrow. Friday night, I'll be back at midnight. From now till midnight, if you're watching this right now and you believe in what I'm saying, from now till Friday night at midnight, call somebody and be a pain in their ass. Because that's what it's going to take. And believe me, I'm a pain in everybody's ass. Everybody's ass. Like, you guys think that I'm bad here? You think that I'm fucking crazy and off the hinges? Like, listen, anybody that knows me can vouch. I am the same person on camera that I am off camera. So, like, I get busy. I get busy for real. And like, I have a lot of stuff that I want to show you guys. I have a lot of things that I want to get into. And, like, we could go over it if you want, like, different documents, different legislation. But I'm just going to post it all on my Discord. Chat, if any of my mods are here, if you could just post the Discord link in there, just so more people have it, so more people know what's going on. Because, yo, Cassidy, I see you. You're definitely a pain in the ass, but I love you. Don't worry. Yo, shout out to Cass. She gets so mad. I always air her out. Every time I see her in the chat, I always put her on blast. Dale, blessing me. Yo, what do you... thank you so much, Dale. I can't pull this up. I'll pull it up later. I'm on OBS, so I can't just pull it to the screen. But $100 super. That is so generous of you. Preach, Jimmy. We're here for it. Much love. The light. Be the light. Sorry. Yo, thank you so much. And yo, Dale, where are you at? You emailed me like 2 months ago that you were going to make content, and I said that we were going to link up. Like, you ready? You ready? Let me know. I'll help you make it happen. Yo, any of you guys need anything, you have my email. Actually, I'm just going to put it in here right now. Sorry about that. Just so you guys got it. realbaseteam@gmail.com. And there you go. 0 link, plug in the Discord. Yo, we are building a real community. I know, I see we got a little over 100 people here in the chat. I think we got like 60 in the Discord. But we're building a real community. Like, we link up, we message each other every day. Like, we're going to get organized. We are going to make change. Like, there's a reason why I say we are the light, and there's a reason why people are repeating it. Because we are going to do this. And I'm telling you, like, yo, like freedom of speech, it's not what it used to be. It's not what it used to be. But you know what? I actually want to hear a little more what Glenn Beck has to say, because I didn't even hear the last 2 minutes of his rant. Like this is like from here on out, it's like I'm hearing it for the first time.
The Constitution must be our set of principles that we do not violate, no matter if it cuts your way or against you. This act, you would think that someone like me that is very supportive of the Jews in Israel would be all for. I am dead set against this. And you should be too.
You know what? I'm just going to say now on the record, anything that I ever said bad about Glenn Beck that didn't involve that interview with Erica Kirk where she lied to everybody's faces about those text messages, I'm sorry.
Something can be legally permissible and morally repulsive at the same time. Speech needs to be protected, not the stuff we all agree on, but the stuff we don't agree on. The only speech that needs protection is the speech that a lot of people, the majority, find absolutely abhorrent. Congress doesn't understand. You cannot legislate hatred away. You can't pass a bill. You know what happens? All you do is you create speakeasies of hate. They go into the closet. They go into another room where they can't be heard. And it just becomes a festering pool of hate that at some point will break out. The only one that can remove hatred from hearts is God. We can do our part. Does that mean that?
You know, and I just found a little more common ground with him because I believe that too. I believe that too. I've talked about this with you guys, but you know, when I really found Jesus, which wasn't even that long ago, like I swear, man, I felt myself start to transform. You know, and my girl says that as time's gone on that I've changed more, and she's hoping I keep changing. I kind of feel like this is it. I don't know if I'm going to change that much more. I hope her expectations aren't yeah, too crazy, you know. But like it's true. There's just like this peace that I've had. There's just this peace that I've had, and like this anger that I don't have. And like when I look at the stuff in the Middle East, I really do. Like I mean it. Like when I say it, I'm not saying it in a derogatory way at all. I think that these people need Jesus. Like I say it all the time. Like Benjamin Netanyahu, like people that are against Israel and against him, like they think that he is the worst and most evil man on the planet. And you know what? Sometimes it's very hard to disagree with. But I'll tell you one thing. That guy is persistent, and there are not a lot of leaders like him in the world. You know, and if he did happen to influence this war a little bit, you know, 30 years. Like, I don't know. I said it the other day. Imagine Benjamin Netanyahu found Jesus and spent 30 years trying to get the whole world universal health care. If I had to put my money on anybody on the planet that could get the world universal health care, if they put their fucking mind to it, it would be Benjamin Netanyahu. And that is not even a joke. That is not even a joke. You know? And you guys can take that how you want it. But that's how I feel. That's how I feel. If there was like a, you know, if I had to put the house on it, if his head was in the game, I think he'd be the one to do it. And then you get this guy again, just going around trying to freaking record everybody. Like, yo, what's his problem? Seriously. He's trying to buy all the media, trying to control social media. Now he wants to put cameras fucking recording cops taking shits in bathrooms. Like, yo, like for real.
You know, can order, I want to look at that, this so-called bathroom break. If there's something comes up.
Why do you want to, Larry Ellison, why do you want to look at that so-called bathroom break? You know what I mean? Like, it's just insane. How did we get this far? How did it get this bad? How? Like, this is America. This is America. Like, I feel like people don't even understand what it means to be an American anymore. It's like, I don't know if they forgot or they never knew. But it's terrible. And you know what? Like, we do not have free speech. We do not have free speech. We have the illusion of free speech. And I'm going to prove that to you right now. Actually, I'm not going to prove it to you. You know who's going to prove it to you? Oh, hold on. Damn, is this the right one? I don't want to play the wrong one, because if I play the wrong clip, I could get in a lot of trouble. All right, we're going to take a chance. If I get banned, I get banned, whatever.
See. Like, think about that sentence. How insane is that? Tucker is like a full-blown...
Wait, no, is this the one? Damn. No, that was not the one. That was the one that would have got me in trouble. Thank God. Yeah, I almost nuked my whole account by accident.
Are not omnipotent. So I'm not going to explain why I'm allowed to, because I'm not really allowed anything. Like, what do you mean? What, you tell me, what am I allowed to do?
Listen to what this guy is saying right now. Listen to what this guy is saying right now, because it is so true. Like, you want to talk about controlled opposition? And no, I'm not talking about like him being in on it or Fuentes being a Fed, like a lot of people say. No, I'm saying like in its most simplest terms, controlled opposition. It is fucking Nick Fuentes, because they got this guy in Rumble like it's a fucking sandbox. Okay, where it's like, yeah, you could play around, you could say what you want, you could do what you want, you could scramble and jump through hoops to get paid, just so everyone else can pretend that we have free speech so you could say the N-word, or because you're allowed to say the N-word. And it's just so clear. It's so clear right here in this clip.
I'm allowed to be on 2 platforms. That's it. I'm allowed to be on X, but I cannot buy a check mark. You know that? I'm ineligible to get a subscription. So my replies are deboosted. I can't have 2-factor authentication. I'm not verified. People can make imposter accounts and verify those. I can't make money off the platform. I can't make a post longer than 280 characters. I can't post a video longer than 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I can't live stream. These are all the restrictions because I can't get verified. The only other platform I'm on is Rumble. They don't pay me. I have no sponsors on here. They won't put me on the front page. If I'm on somebody else's stream, they won't put that on the front page. I'm their...
Yo, can you see what this guy's got to deal with? Like, does Nick Fuentes really have free speech? Why? Because he's on 1 platform? 2 if you count X? Can't get monetized? And listen, it gets even worse.
Third biggest streamer, and I get treated like I'm some guy. And no hate on them, you know, they do what they can, but that's what I'm allowed. That's what I'm allowed to do. I am banned on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. On TikTok, my name and face are banned. On Instagram, many of my clipping accounts get banned. People associated with me get banned. I'm banned from CPAC. I'm banned from Stripe, PayPal, Uber, or not Uber, Airbnb. These are the things I'm banned.
Yo, how is he banned from Airbnb? Like, it's insane. Like, I didn't realize that he had it that bad. I didn't realize that he was banned from that many things. Hold on, there's a little more. I keep doing that.
And from people go, you're allowed. Why are you allowed to get so big? Well, I persevered through being the most canceled person of all time. I'm extremely fucking talented. I produce, how many hours of content every night, and I've been doing it for 10 years. And yeah, now I have a modest level of success. So, well, why are you allowed to get so big? Well, it's a complicated question, but I would say, let's be careful when we say, what am I allowed to do? What am I allowed to do? My payment processor, Entropy, this is how we get super chats. A Canadian journalist flew out to another continent to bang on their door. They're processing payments in yet another country. That's how I make fucking money. And people go, what do you allow? I'm banned from 6 banks, 2 airlines. You're allowed. You're allowed. Yeah, I'm really allowed. I'm really allowed a lot of fucking things. Fuck you. But yeah, you would have to presume that they're omnipotent.
Yo, I bet when this stream started, you did not think that we were going to go from Ian Carroll to Glenn Beck to Nick Fuentes. I've always got something up my sleeve. I've always got something up my sleeve. Nah, but these are scary times. These are scary times. And then you got this asshole.
Although it is being used online in a way that is meant to say, screw you, Jew.
He's talking about the term Christ is King. I saw a video the other day where somebody went up to him and tried to get him to say Christ is King. And Ted Cruz gave that person a lecture. Like, how much of a sellout do you have to be?
Although it is being used online in a way that is meant to say, screw you, Jew. It is being used in a context very directly to say, I hate Jews, and that's almost an online code word. Christ is King is, I hate the Jew.
Is that your view, or why do you say that?
Because you see the people who are saying it, and they're saying it in that context. They're saying Jews.
Well, Christ is King. God bless the Jews. God bless the Muslims. I can assure you, when I post online saying Christ is King, that I'm only thinking about Jesus. I'm not saying it for anybody else. And for this guy to imply this is offensive. This is hate speech. This is hate speech. Him saying what he just said, I consider that hate speech.
An online code word. Christ is King is, I hate the Jew.
Is that your view, or why do you say that?
Because you see the people who are saying it, and they're saying it in that context. They're saying Jews are horrible, good, like they're attacking Jews, and they end with Christ is King to make it sound like somehow there's a biblical basis for attacking Jews. Look, Jesus was a Jew. And by the way, the twisted theology that says Jews.
Yo, this guy, he's going to talk about theology. Yo, Tucker Carlson owned him so freaking bad with scripture. Owned him. I should have got that clip together. It's insane. Yo, AWC, why are you saying crazy things in the chat? It's not even true. Where's the one I wanted to show you guys? There's something else important. Hold on, let me see. All right, we'll just start with this. Now, these are... I'm going to make myself bigger again. These are state laws that are already in place. Make myself a little smaller. State laws that are already in place. Anybody here in California? Now, this one is California. This one is New York. Governor Hochul signs Stop Hiding Hate Act to ensure social media platforms are transparent and accountable. This was in December of 2024. This one, which state was this? State legislators. Alabama, Arizona. Oh, this is all different states. That might be something else. Is this the one that was Texas? But here we go. I got a whole list. And I'm going to post all these in the Discord tonight. And maybe you'll see your state in there. Look at this. California, New York, Utah, Texas, Louisiana, California. This is all legislation. These are all court rulings. Other major piece that set the stage is in the courts. In Free Speech Coalition versus Paxton on June 27, 2025, the Supreme Court upheld Texas's online age verification law for adult content sites and said age verification is an ordinary and appropriate way to enforce age-based restrictions. That case was not about general social media or operating systems, but it lowered the political and legal barrier for governments to argue that digital age checks are constitutionally acceptable. And that's where it starts. It always starts with something that's going to like protect somebody, something that's going to help somebody. And then they just push it. It just goes a little further, back. And they never quite tell you to stop. And right now in America, we are at a time where our backs are against the wall. They have one hand in our pocket and the other hand on our throat. And we have to fight back. We can't keep going like this. Let's go back to what Ian was saying. I never even watched this full episode. I gotta check this one out.
I don't need a social credit score.
Yeah,
my social credit score would fucking suck.
yeah, it'd be like we'd be trying to do this podcast, and it would just end. It would just cut. It'd be like
your screen time is over for the day, Ian. That's enough research for you.
Yeah, man. It's a scary conversation because, like, again, whether we talk about specifics of it, like you said, you don't have to be like into sort of deep conspiracies. Like you can just see surface level and go,
yeah,
oh, that sounds terrible. And I'm just like, if there's no way around it, then what does the future look like? Is it just looks like exactly what you're describing, where you could rationalize sort of anything for the greater good, but in reality, it's just kind of for the powers that are.
Yep. I mean, the way I look at it is like we're never going to save the world. It's always going to, like, all of humanity is always just this like push and pull between horrible ideas and good ideas. And sometimes, the smart people are like numerous and they're mostly like, we're running with good ideas in society. And then there's whole periods of history where it's just horrible. And it kind of comes down to who's in charge of the progress, I think, because there's a good argument to be made that like we want some controls on the internet, in the sense that like right now, regular old people can like turn photos of their ex into fake AI porn of their ex and like spread it on the internet, and it'll look like that. And that's like messed up. You can make fake AI videos of like Elon Musk selling some new crypto coin and scam a bunch of people. You can do all sorts that like we don't want happening. You don't want, like, part of the dismantling of truth is the fact that everyone's on Twitter just spouting lies. And like none of us are, like, I'm guilty of that occasionally, is getting things wrong. But it's like, do we give up the right for the real humans on here to speculate and to tell jokes and to have ideas just for like this theoretical truth? It's just all these trade-offs between freedom and comfort, or like freedom and safety. And yeah. I think that most people, as they grow up, they get more freedom-minded. And I definitely think that men and women, when you get stronger, when you get healthy, when you take care of yourself, when you're like fit, you become much more freedom-minded because you can take care of yourself and you don't need some government to hold your hand through everything.